Randy, we've got a problem.
What?
They go. Reality's here. He's trying to crash the party. Reality? Who let him in?
You're sad that people are mean? Well, I'm sorry. The world isn't one big liberal arts college campus.
I don't have an agenda. Like, I want people to do something. I need them to do something. I want them to avoid irrationality.
I guess what interests me is just like what interests everybody else. It's just sort of what feels real.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Real News in the Morning. My name is Mr. Henry. David Shine Thompson over there. Fantastic new intro right there, man. I am loving that new intro. That is absolutely incredible. We got Sherry in the chat already. We got Eric. We got Daniel. Cody's up in there with us. Hello. How's it going? RealNewsRadio.live. RealNewsRadio.live is probably. And I also come on throughout the day as we're doing the actual job thing, whatever. If we're asking y'all to sign petitions, asking y'all to take action, call your legislators, whatever. To make it for the better, maybe to limit the size of government a little bit, for being honest, a little bit, take it down a notch. You'll see us on there too. So RealNewsRadio.live is usually the best place to find anything related. Also, I got a Real News cup over there. I would be drinking out of this morning, but I didn't wash it last night, unfortunately. But there's some merch on that page too. If you just so happen to want to go over there and, I don't know, man, get yourself a coffee mug, get yourself a t-shirt, see whatever's up or whatever else, man. David Shine Thompson, man, how you doing this morning, buddy?
Dude, we made it. That's all I know is we made it. We made it on air, so I'm happy about that. I didn't have good internet this morning, so Comcast had to come by. I really feel bad because I don't remember that guy's name, but he did a bang up job. I went from those of y'all who would understand this, I went from like 20 to 25 megs a second to like 600 right before the show started. So big thanks. You won't hear me say this very often. Big thanks to Comcast to making the show happen this morning. And sorry we're late, but happy to be here. Happy day after Memorial Day. We have a fantastic show. Got a cool guest coming. In fact, he's in the waiting room right now.
And yeah, that's right. Zig's in the waiting room right now. Sean's going to set that up and bring him in real quick. Let me just jump into this here. Greatest audience in the nation appreciation segment. Greatest audience in the nation appreciation segment. I don't mean this to sound too sappy here, but it is. Whatever. It's going to be cliche, and calling it cliche is going to be cliche, but whatever, man. My thing right now for this morning, the greatest audience in the nation appreciation segment is y'all. Yes, Mr. Henry. No, but it really is y'all. Especially since this morning, I've been prepping and putting together some stories, man. I've really been kind of getting a little bit down, especially people just like violating social distancing orders. And it's just like, it just got me agitated and it got me worried and it got me, I don't know, a little bit anxious, and it also got me a little bit anxious and concerned about the fact, am I being too anxious about this? I was just like in a really weird spot, man. And I just like immediately sort of caught myself realizing like, oh yeah, I get this like really cool opportunity to jump on this place and this platform every single morning. And at least for the few of us that are doing this thing together, just sort of vent and complain and just like be myself and be a little bit vulnerable and just get feedback from y'all in the comment section and just ask how y'all are doing, where you're at. Are you feeling the same way, right? Are you feeling worried and anxious and wanting to be careful, but then you focus on that too much and then you're getting worried about the fact that you're being too worried? Is that y'all as well? I don't know, man. Let me know. But all I'm saying is, man, I'm just genuinely appreciative of having y'all here to ping some of this stuff off. So all y'all are sitting on Facebook, YouTube, anywhere else you listen to us, I appreciate you for being here. Sean, but if you want to go ahead and bring in Zig, man, we'll introduce him to the audience, let him know who he is, what he's about, where he's from, or I can do that on mine. Oh, look at that, man. He's here. Zig. Hey, buddy. We're throwing this on him like right in the beginning here, man. Let me just unmute him here. He's good to go. Zig, how's it going, man? You're looking good. I'm really loving that.
It's all right, man. What's that, bud?
I said you're live with us right now, man. How's it going, buddy?
Oh, yeah, it's all right, man. How are you guys? Sorry for being late. I had a major
Actually,
failure.
You're not late at all, dude. We actually started late this morning ourselves. Sean got some upgraded internet on his end. He's flying at 600 megs a second over there, man. So we literally I just got done doing the intro, man. But for those that don't know, that are catching you new for the first time, let them know who you are, what you do out in Pennsylvania way.
Yeah, my name is Zygmunt Reichenbach with Americans for Prosperity, Pennsylvania. This is, again, in my own time, because like these folks, I certainly love what we're doing. But really what I'm trying to do is read, write, and think to help, advance the causes we all support here.
And one of the causes we all support here, man, and one of the things I wanted to get your opinion on, this idea, not this, what I'm about to go into, but obviously rejecting the bailouts that are coming through. Federal government is proposing this idea through what they're calling the HEROES Act. They're calling it the HEROES Act to spend about $3 trillion. About $1 trillion of that would go to state governments to bail out sort of their inability to spend properly or not exactly understand what fiscal conservative spending principles might be. They've overextended themselves, if you will. And yesterday, if you click on this link at the top of the description, by the way, the show notes and Evernote right there, it'll go straight to a link that will bring you to an Americans for Prosperity. Again, we do this in our own time, but we also like to help you guys out by taking action. It'll bring you to a little link that will say the first paragraph here. Speaker Pelosi's new $3 trillion package is not about caring for our heroes. It's about leveraging a crisis to ram through massive bailouts and a partisan wish list. And this is where I want to get your opinions. Like, I saw Governor Cuomo yesterday on Memorial Day. And this might actually be a good time, too, to have Shine give us a little bit of the distinction between Veterans Day and Memorial Day. But I saw Governor Cuomo yesterday, buddy, do this thing that it, on the face seemed a little bit reprehensible. It seemed, and he basically used Memorial Day to say, like, listen, what we really should be focusing on is the heroes in the front line. It's like, yeah, dude, that's true. That is true. And I don't know. I found myself like really conflicted, man. I found myself really confused because he's technically correct. That is a sense of sacrifice. And that's what it's about. It's about honoring sacrifice. It's about honoring sacrifice in the sense of a sacrifice that I don't have to make for myself. Right, Zig? A way that I don't have to then go be on the front lines in hospitals. I'm not trained for that. Frankly speaking, I don't know if I have the fortitude to be able to do that. If I'm being completely honest with our audience here. So I found myself conflicted because Governor Cuomo is right. They should have attention drawn to them too. But on the other hand, I found myself going through this first paragraph on this Americans for Prosperity page, and it also kind of draws attention to like, dude, dang it. Is Governor Cuomo trying to exploit this situation yet one more time? I'm not meaning to put you on the spot here.
Well,
Steve, like, am I on?
No, I don't think any of these folks are trying to exploit any situation. We should care for these people. And one way that we could care for these people who are now on the front lines is we could have set aside a rainy day fund. We could use long-term thinking, actually, to show that we care instead of waiting for a crisis to emerge. So I agree with the gentleman. We should, in fact, show that we care. And we can do that by having a responsible budget. We don't have to wait until a crisis to do that. And furthermore, if he is using this to push for a state bailout, it's not a bailout. It's a transfer. You're transferring debt from the state to the nation. So it's not even a bailout, right? Yeah. No one is getting bailed out. You're not creating less debt. So with some clarity, hopefully these folks will take the appropriate action, which would again make the appropriate changes to their budget, and also think long term to really show that they care about people.
It is a conflicting thing nowadays. One of the topics we're going to get on today is talking about this mail-in voting process. Now, I want to hang off on that for just a minute so I can give some people in the state of Tennessee a couple updates as to the numbers that we're going through in the phase 2 reopening, and maybe see if Zig has any idea as to what's going on in Pennsylvania up there as well in comparison with Tennessee. But it is an interesting thing to keep in the back of your mind this morning is one of these themes is going to be has this coronavirus coverage always been partisan? Has it always been so divisive, or did that happen just over the last couple of weeks here? I'm really trying to decide, especially with this mail-in voting process. Nevertheless, talking specifically about the federal government bailing out the states, if you are against that for the myriad of reasons that we've mentioned on this program before, do us a favor, sign that petition up there. It'll seriously help out not just what Shine and I are doing and Zig is doing. It will seriously help out as well to get your voice heard. Those letters go directly to targeted senators that will say, hey, we need your support on this.
And the point that I want to make real quick here, Grant, is that when you have children and you want to show that you are caring for your children, you don't give them sugary treats and candy and all this junk food that in the short term they might like and might stop them from bursting out into some kind of rage. You put away money. Okay, to show that you care about your kids, you save money. Okay, and then they can go to college debt free. Okay, you instill in them the proper virtues, and that's how you show that you care. You don't just spend money. Okay, and if you think that that's showing caring, your kids might have a very different opinion if they grow up unhealthy because you thought that you were caring for them by giving them anything that they want. That's ridiculous.
That's exactly right. Right. I mean, that's the fundamental principle of like, you don't reinforce the terrible behavior. It's just bound to repeat itself. right? You're setting up a terrible precedent at that point, because who then in their right mind is going to say next time this happens? This isn't the first time we've had this conversation, by the way. We had the same conversation back in 2011. I mean, the same states were having the same conversation. California and Illinois were having the exact same conversations just a few years ago as we're having now. So who in the right mind would think they're going to have anything different, man? And I'm telling you, as we're entering a phase of just sort of reopening, man, I do think that some of the economists, what they're starting to say is just give it a little bit of time for the first bailout, the CARES Act, to work. Give it a little bit of time to start figuring out if some of this stuff is going to go through or not. In talking about the phase 2 reopening here in Nashville, that's going to include live music now. Nashville Phase 2 is going to reopen, plans starting yesterday, includes allowing live music. Restaurants on Broadway will also be allowed to bring in more guests. Broadway is our main strip here, man. That's where all the honky-tonk country music is. It goes right up against the NFL Titan Stadium there. Restaurants will be allowed to increase capacity to 75%. Now, oddly enough, in Phase 2, only 2 music performers can perform on a stage at one time, and the dancing is obviously shut down. The other thing we're going on here is retail stores and commercial businesses. They may now open up to 3/4 capacity. All residents are still obviously being advised to wear masks. Some businesses here are actually even requiring that for entry. Let's see, no gatherings over 25 people. Gyms and high-touch businesses like hair and nail salons, they may be open at half capacity now starting on Monday. Let's see here. Restaurants and bars serving food operate at 3/4. Talk about that. Residents who are 65 and older and those with underlying health conditions are still being recommended to stay home. And lastly here, they're still obviously saying those that have the ability to work from home should continue working from home. This is the similar situation you're seeing going on in the Nashville, Knoxville, and Memphis area. Zig, let me ask you though, man, by way of comparison to a different state, are you guys hearing anything different, seeing anything different in Pennsylvania? What's it looking like up there?
Yeah, so here in Pennsylvania, actually, the governor has relinquished some control over what states are allowed to do and if they're allowed to go to yellow to green to the legislator. But it was only after, and this is where it really shows the importance of grassroots action. Only after so many people lobbied their legislator and encouraged their legislator to allow these places to open up. So, for example, out here in Potter County, there's hardly any cases, but for a long time we were being locked down as if we're Philadelphia, and we're not. No one wealthy is flying into Potter County. We don't have anybody from any foreign country coming to Potter County. In Philadelphia, you have that. So that just again reinforces the importance of folks who are listening. That if you have a problem with this, lobby your state legislator, and perhaps they'll change things. It's happened here in Pennsylvania.
Well, but there is a way to do this safely. Eric just said on Facebook a second ago, talking about the question I asked previously of this being such a divisive issue, right? Of us somehow, and I don't even know who us is, frankly. I'm just saying somehow over the last couple of weeks, it didn't seem like it started necessarily Democrat, Republican. Because, yeah, there was always this bickering and throwing mud on both sides of like President Trump got it wrong. But as easily as someone said President Trump got it wrong, a partisan or not a partisan, but some pundit on the other side could say, like, listen to this clip from Nancy Pelosi back on February as well, where she was talking about coming in and celebrating the Chinese New Year. Both sides, man, you could do that, but it didn't seem like it was inherently a Democrat-Republican partisan issue. Just over the last couple of weeks, and Eric just said in Facebook, it's been divisive since it started. Everything is. Nothing special about that. And honestly, man, maybe he's right. Maybe Eric is dead on. Let me give some numbers here real quick, and then I'll go into a story about Japan. I want to get a story. I want to get an opinion from Zig about whether it has been partisan. Here's where we're looking at as far as Tennessee Department of Health reports that 20,607 confirmed cases of coronavirus in Tennessee. That was as of yesterday. This is an increase of 462 cases since Sunday. There's been 338 deaths in the state. Now, according to Johns Hopkins University, there's a total of 1,656,904 confirmed cases of COVID-19. There's an increase. That's an increase of 20,000 plus 20,828 just the last 24 hours there. And I bring this up, Zig, let me ask, the numbers should speak for themselves. I don't know if there should be such a thing as partisan interpretation of the numbers that I just read off there. But what do you think about what Eric's saying, man? Like, has it been partisan from the beginning? We just led ourselves into the coronavirus thing?
I don't necessarily know if it's partisan per se, but I know that different groups of people come at it from a different perspective, where one group is primarily concerned about safety, and one group is more concerned with the economic well-being of different people. But now that we have the data that shows, at least in the state of Pennsylvania, COVID-19 is primarily a nursing home virus. So now that we already have the data, it doesn't have to be partisan. The solution is to increase and improve testing in nursing homes. That's where all the deaths are coming in. So perhaps it did start off that way, but with more data, we now know that it doesn't have to be that way anymore.
Actually, to lend some credence to what you're saying, and Sean, I apologize, man. I actually don't have this article linked to the show notes, but what you were just saying, there's an article from the Washington Times entitled "You Are Not Going to Die from COVID-19." If you want to look that up for yourself, and it basically just goes through the statistics talking about. I'll just read the first paragraph. Good news: if you're under the age of 65 in reasonably good health and do not have a vitamin D deficiency, there's only a tiny chance of you dying from COVID-19. If you're younger than 34, your chances of dying from the virus are so small as to be almost statistically undetectable. On the other hand, if you're 85 years or older in a nursing home or have a serious underlying health condition and on vitamin D deficiency, you may be in real danger if exposed to the virus. It's a little bit of what Zig's just saying there, again, just coming from the Washington Times. And the article